If someone came up to you and said, I hold the secret to living a long and happy life, and all it takes is 5 minutes of your time, would you brush them off? I didn't think so listen closely. Today, I'll be presenting my grandparents, Kim and Nancy Kreitzman, with the Golden Heart Award. For the past 18 years of my life, I have spent more time than I can recall in the tender and loving care of my grandparents. From birth until school-aged, I was practically raised by my grandparents while my dad was a Marine and my mom worked 75+ hours a week. Through the years, I grew extremely close to them. Like a school girl may make best friends with another girl in her class, I made best friends with the old farts I went home to. When I heard about this award on the radio, I couldn't help but think of my grandparents. When I think of the type of person that I aspire to be like, I immediately think of them. Through their giving nature, selflessness, and tender love and care, as individuals and as a couple, they have demonstrated their exemplary golden hearts and personalities. My grandparents always have and always will give more than they will ever receive. From sacrificing their wants and needs for others, to going out of their way to do something for their grandkids and those they love, my grandparents display their golden hearts for all to see. My grandparents always have and always will sacrifice their wants and needs for the sake of others. As my grandpa stated in an interview on how my grandma has a golden heart, he said that she always puts everyone else ahead of her. She is the most selfless person I know. If they have plans and someone calls asking for help, their plans immediately get put on hold until they have done all and everything they can to help. My grandparents always have and always will go out of their way to do something for their grandkids and for those that they love. As my grandma said in an interview about how my grandpa has a golden heart, people that matter to him, his grandkids, his mother, herself, when push comes to shove, will always and forever come first. The same can be said for my grandma. She just wants everyone to be happy, my grandpa said. When it comes to their grandkids, there isn't a length they wouldn't go to ensure that they had everything they needed, but most importantly, everything they wanted. Not only do they spoil and love well on their grandkids, but also they make sure that everyone around them is taken care of. Whether it's one of her friends getting sick or a friend's spouse dies, my grandma always knows exactly what to do and what to say. As my grandpa puts it, when someone is hurting emotionally, she has a way of comforting them and talking with them. From sacrificing their wants and needs for others to going out of their way to do something for their grandkids and those that they love, my grandparents have displayed their golden hearts for all to see. Not only are they graciously giving, but everyone knows that if they are ever left with nothing but the shoes on their feet, my grandparents will be the first to give them the shirts off their backs. My grandparents always have and always will continue to take care of those that once took care of them in the most selfless way possible. I remember back to when my great-grandfather was sick. My grandparents were always by his side to make sure he was comfortable in his last days. Today, they still continue to take care of my great-grandmother and check up on her every Friday. When my grandfather's dad was sick and dying, they didn't stop at anything to make sure that they were there for him and for his mother. My family was in the middle of renovating our house when he got terribly worse. I remember the days when my grandpa couldn't eat due to the stress of helping us out and making sure that they were there for his parents. They were at the nursing home almost daily to make sure that my great-grandmother was making well-informed decisions medically. Now that my great-grandfather is gone, they continually check up on my great-grandmother and are always making sure that she is well taken care of. My grandma takes care of her finances, her investments, as well as keeping track of her medical records and insurance policies. As my grandpa says, it gives Grandma Joan peace of mind. It allows her to go to sleep at night knowing that someone is always looking out for her best interest. During my great-grandfather's last days, up until now, having to take care of the ones that once took care of my grandparents has always been an area of great importance to them. Not only are they graciously giving and extremely selfless, but they also have a way about them that makes everyone feel welcomed, even a perfect stranger. My grandparents always have and always will foster an environment for those they love to feel welcomed. There isn't a time that you would walk into my grandparents' house and feel like a stranger. Grant Walters, my boyfriend, says that every time we see them, they always ask about everything. They say, "How is work going? How is school? How are you liking your classes?" They always have a genuine interest in our lives, no matter the season. Not only do they make their loved ones feel welcomed, but also the people that their loved ones bring home to them. Grant once said in an interview on how my grandparents have golden hearts that they accepted him as part of their family. It is not just Emma anymore, it is Emma and Grant. For family dinners, Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, you name it, it is Emma and Grant. Now, if you remember back to my opening remarks, you should remember that I told you that I hold the secret to living a long and happy life. Well, truth is that I don't hold the secret, but rather the secret lies within everything I just told you. My grandparents have lived long and happy lives, not because they had things handed to them, but because they realized the importance in being giving, selfless, and welcoming individuals. My best friends, my role models, my favorite old farts, it is my honor to present you the Golden Heart Award.